Welcome YouTube to Alpha Omega Sin's Survival Horror Game Collection! Gotta do this to emphasize how awesome it is. But anyway, survival horror is one of my all-time favorite genres in the entire universe. Which, you know, as many of you out there, it all started with Resident Evil. Well, Resident Evil is one of many games I actually own within the whole survival horror genre. And, you know, from zombies to mummies to bats to Dracula to all types of random shit and cliches that they have within, like, the survival horror universe, I pretty much have most of them that I've ever wanted. So I'm here to share with you, the YouTube audience, all the games that I have. So to start things off, I'm going to start with one of the best game systems you can have survival horror games on, the PS2. So here we go. First up, we got Siren. Now, I like this game, little slow pace, but it's not bad. Mostly atmosphere that I liked it for. They also have a version on PS3 that comes in chapters. I don't have that. I only have this. So yeah, Siren. Next up, we have Ghost Hunter by Namco. Now, I thought this game was pretty neat, but it turned out to be like, I don't know. It turned out to be a little different than I thought it was going to be. I thought this was going to be more like Fatal Frame, and it's very far from that, but still not bad. Next, we got Obscure. Now, Obscure pretty much is kind of like watching a modern days like horror movie, pretty much. You have all teenagers within college and everything, and a bunch of shit goes wrong. So yeah, that's Obscure more or less in a nutshell. It's not bad. It's a lot better than I thought it was going to be, because to be honest, I thought this was going to be crap. I bought it literally for like $2 and wasn't expecting much, and it turned out to be pretty decent. I liked it. Next, we have Vampire Knight. Now, some of you may say, well, that's not really survival horror, but the thing is, whenever you're in an arcade, this is about as survival horror as you can get. You basically just take your little Namco gun con, aim at the screen, and start popping off shots at all the enemies until you get to the very final stage, and that's it. It's really good two-player fun. If you'd like House of Dead, you would like this. Next, we have The Suffering. The Suffering is not too bad of a game. I didn't think it was great. I liked some of the monster designs, but in a way they came off kind of silly. I don't know. But I still thought it was a pretty decent game, because, again, this was a game I went into with low expectations. I just checked it out because a friend told me to, and it wasn't too bad. Sadly, I still have not finished this game, but I will someday. Next, we have one of my first PS2 games, Run Like Hell. Run Like Hell is pretty much that. Run like hell, or else you're going to get fucked up by every single monster that runs up and wants to brutally kill you. So take out your assault machine gun and kill the shit out of them. And that looks like one of the monsters from Alien. Just realized that. It's kind of ironic. Oh, and you got boobs down there. Gotta love that. Boobs and horror. They go hand in hand. No pun intended. Next, Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Now, for anybody that's ever played Code Veronica on Dreamcast, this is an upgraded version of it. It's got more story, pretty much, that includes Wesker, which is a really good thing, because I love Wesker. He's a great villain. So, yeah, definitely like this. And this was one of the earlier PS2 games, and it turns out that they're actually making an HD version of this, which will be coming out sometime soon. So, yeah, pretty happy about that. They showed off Resident Evil 4, but I'd rather see this because this is an older title, so this could actually use the benefit from, you know, like higher resolution and everything. But yeah, really good game, but probably the hardest Resident Evil that they ever released. Next, we have Resident Evil Dead Aim. Dead Aim is kind of like a pseudo first-person shooter on rails arcade game, but it's not, because you can control where you go. I don't know. I didn't really like it all that much. Like, I played it and beat it within a single sitting, but it's really not that great of a game. Like, if you played Resident Evil Survivor, then essentially you know what you're going to get yourself into when it comes to Resident Evil Dead Aim. Next, we have one of the best, Resident Evil 4 for PS2. And this is actually the premium edition. Open that up. Comes with an extra disc and everything, and I thought it was pretty nice, all in all. Since the case is clear, you actually get additional artwork and everything on the inside. But yeah, it's got a making of Resident Evil, and I just thought it was pretty nice. I got it for the same price as regular Resident Evil at GameStop, so yeah, I couldn't pass it up. Next, we have Resident Evil Outbreak, File 2. Now, keep in mind that the Resident Evil Outbreak series had a lot of potential. They pretty much just failed because, I don't know, they didn't do a lot of things right. File 2 is a tad bit better than the first one, but not by a whole lot. I didn't finish the game because I didn't give a shit. That was the honest truth. I mean, if you like the first game, you'll definitely like this one, but if you didn't like the first game, you're not going to get any like more of a benefit out of this, because all it does is improve on little things here and there. But yeah, it's okay. Speaking of Resident Evil Outbreak, Resident Evil Outbreak 1! Yep, I pretty much just talked about that, so you already know what to expect. So yeah, you run around with a bunch of people that don't matter within the Resident Evil universe, and most of them are completely useless, and they're nothing but zombie fodder. So yeah, that's Outbreak. Next, we got Cold Fear. Cold Fear had my interest from the get-go because it throws you onto a boat. Now, you may be thinking, well, what's the big deal about being on a boat? And I just thought it was an interesting aspect to throw into, you know, a situation where you're pretty much just screwed. You know, well, what if the boat is sinking, or what if parts of it are actually starting to flood? You know, then that brings the environment into play. Not just monsters are trying to kill you, but the environment is also, you know, pretty much a hazard that's going to be constantly dealt with. And then you could also like throw in like things of puzzling and whatnot with it, which this game does for the most part. And it's really not bad, but honestly, it bored the shit out of me. So yeah, I can't really recommend it, but if you see it for dirt cheap, pick it up, because that's what I did. Next we got Clock Tower 3. Now the Clock Tower franchise, their first two games, they are nothing like this, like whatsoever. If you play them, they are like point and click games. Like, just take a good look at it. You pretty much try to zoom in there. You run around and you are basically helpless down there against somebody that's always trying to kill you. And that's what the Clock Tower series was about, was you running away from something that was trying to harm you. And, you know, they didn't give you tons of weapons or anything. And that was the aspect of the game that I liked, was that you were helpless. So it was a constant thing of fear that you were going to get murdered. This game, though, didn't really give me that as much as the first two games did. But this one controls a hell of a lot better, because the other ones are point and click. So unless you have a PlayStation 1 mouse, you are pretty much screwed. Unless you use an emulator, then you can just use your regular mouse. But yeah, this controls better, but not nearly as scary. So yeah, take it for what you will. Next up, we got Hunting Ground. Hunting Ground, another survival horror game by Capcom. Well, this game was pretty cool because right on back there, you got your little doggy pal. And the thing that I liked about it was that, you know, it's kind of like having a person with you at all times. I mean, Resident Evil 5 did that, but this, it's a dog. So that's kind of interesting. And again, this is another one of those games where you're not really powerful. You don't have, you know, tons of guns and ammunition and everything to go and take out the enemies that are coming after you. You pretty much just have the help of your dog and hiding spots to try to not get killed. So yeah, it's a lot better than Clock Tower 3, but again, it depends on what kind of survival horror you're into. If you're just like balls out action, like in Resident Evil and everything, then this probably won't be something you'll like. But if you just want like true to heart survival horror, kind of just run away, be scared and shit like that, then yeah, it's not too bad. Next up, we have Echo Knight Beyond. Now, there's actually another Echo Knight game, but it's not really a survival horror game. This one, they added the horror aspect to it, and it plays out in first person. To be honest, this game bored me to death. I got maybe 2 hours into it and just shut it off because I stopped caring. It literally is probably one of the most boring games I played. Let you check out the back there. I mean, it's not like it's the worst game in the world. You know, I'm sure if you have like the patience for it, it may be rewarding. But for me, it was just too damn boring. I've got other stuff to play, so meh. Next up, we got Fatal Frame. Now, Fatal Frame is one of those games that I've noticed you either love it or you hate it. I happen to love the Fatal Frame games. Well, Fatal Frame, this one's supposed to be based on a true story, whereas the other ones pretty much are just made up on the spot. But anyway, you take on the role of pretty much just this chick who has a camera that can kill ghosts. So the concept is kind of silly. You know, running around and you're just like, I'm flash photographer, ghost hunter, click, 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 and they're just like, I'm no longer able to haunt you. But yeah, the game, one of the reasons why I think that this game is scary is the fact that when you're running around, most monsters will pop out, you know, and not supposed to be scared. They're like, rah, they jump out. But this game does something different. You know, a monster will jump out, it scares you because it was out of nowhere, and then it comes after you. Naturally, you either run away or you kill it. This game has ghosts and apparitions, all types of other spirits and stuff that will just like, you'll be walking down this long hallway, and then a ghost will go like dead right in front of you. And it's not there to hurt you, it's there to startle you, and that's really it. And this game does that really well. It's all about atmosphere, and this game has it in spades. I really like it, just wish the controls a tad bit better. But yeah, it's not bad. Next, we have Fatal Frame 2, Crimson Butterfly. Now, I think that this one is an improvement over the first one because they have kind of like a Nemesis character, if you will, where it's an enemy that will run after you from room to room to room, and you can't get away from it, and it's really powerful. This game was scary enough that I had an entire room, both male and female, so this wasn't just girls screaming, and freaking out whenever I was being chased. But yeah, that pretty much says something to me whenever you're not the one experiencing the game, you're just watching it, and it makes people jump, scream, grab onto each other, and stuff like that. But yeah, if you're going to get a Fatal Frame, I suggest this one. It's not like you need to play one to play the other one, so they're like their own games. But yeah, you should check this out. Next we have Fatal Frame 3, The Tormented. Now, this one, the Fatal Frame series, I have to say, this is one that I like the very least. There's aspects in between all the like actual scary parts that you're stuck at home and there's nothing to do, and it's very boring. The house has a creepy tone to it, mostly because it's like the lady never paid her electric bill. Like, it always looks dark, even when it's obviously daytime out. But yeah, them having that part in there just bored the shit out of me. Every time like you go back to the house, I was like, oh, whatever. But yeah, my least favorite out of the bunch, but still worth picking up if you can find it for cheap. Next, hit the camera there. Next up, we have Silent Hill Origins. Now, I've made my rant about Silent Hill. This was one of the games that I brought up in the process, that I had a problem with Silent Hill being basically passed on to a different developer. And this game, I've played through it twice now, okay? And in general, it's not the worst thing in the entire world, but it still just doesn't feel exactly like Silent Hill. Like, they try their damnedest in this, and it just, I don't know, it comes up short. It's mostly the story is kind of bland and boring. The main character just makes no sense to be there and why he even continues. I don't know. It just didn't make sense to me. That and the fact that they won't really give you guns or ammunition or anything, or like, you know, a lead pipe, some kind of melee weapon. Instead, you just pick up random objects. Like, you can run around with 47 televisions on you, but they can't give me a melee weapon. And what's more dumb is that you can pick up all these random objects in this game, and they're like one-time use, or you use them a couple times and they break. Why would you let me pick up like an entire Walmart's worth of furniture and other just random doodads, but you won't give me actual weapons? That's just stupid. And it brings back the tried and true, you know, here's a stage that takes like an hour to go through. Every door is locked, or the doorknob is broken, or the door is like being blocked from something from behind. I don't know. It does that. That always annoyed the crap out of me, but yeah. Out of Silent Hill, all the ones on PS2, definitely my least favorite. Next up, we have my favorite Silent Hill, period. Silent Hill 2. Now, this is one of the earliest PS2 games, and still to this day, it looks really nice. It has a fantastic story in general. Most of the Silent Hills just want to be this again. And this brought up like a lot of things that they've reused over and over again in Silent Hill, like, you know, Pyramid Head and the nurses and stuff like that. But those, I hate the fact that they constantly reuse stuff like that because, like, the nurses, for instance, were something it was meant for the main character. It was meant to, like, screw with him psychologically, but that's, like, a trademark character within Silent Hill now. But anyway, that's just something that kind of bugs me. But I love this game to death. If you play a Silent Hill game, like if you have not played one and you want to get started on the franchise, play this. They also have a version on Xbox, which I'll get to that one shortly. But this is by far the very best one and most definitely worth picking up. And as a matter of fact, also, they're making an HD remake of this as well. So you may want to wait out for that one because, hell, playing Silent Hill 2 with nicer graphics and trophies, and that just sounds awesome. Next we have Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 3 is a really solid game. It's not nearly as good as 2, but like I said, I think that 2 pretty much was like the peak of the entire franchise. This is probably the third best Silent Hill, within my humble opinion. It's a really good game. I do like it a lot. I noticed I got stuck very often within the game, more so than I did in any other Silent Hill. I don't know why. I know other people didn't even have that problem, but for some reason I just got stuck really often in this. So, yeah. But I liked the game. Like, it had a surprisingly decent story within it, and all around just really good. Silent Hill 4, The Room. Now, this one has been debated amongst most survival horror fans and Silent Hill fans as to, is this really a Silent Hill game? Because it doesn't feel like a Silent Hill game, doesn't look like one. In my opinion, I think that this game literally was something that Konami was making, and they decided to just slap the name Silent Hill onto it to make it sell better and tweak a couple things in it so that it fits within their universe. I don't know. It's not a bad game, but I didn't like it compared to the other ones. This is, out of all the PS2 games, this is like pretty close to Silent Hill Origins. I like parts of it, but I don't like more parts of it. So yeah, it's not great, but it's not awful either. So now that we've gone over all the PS2 games, time for PS1. First up, we got Crypt Killer. Crypt Killer is a arcade shooter, which if you've ever seen an arcade, it's really fun. I don't know. It's got a bunch of cliched monsters that you run around and you have to shoot the hell out of. And you have to use the Justifier there, which I actually reviewed the Justifier, and this is a game that I played the living heck out of when I got the Justifier. Yeah, it's not bad. I don't know. It's decent. If you see it, you ought to pick it up because, I don't know, arcade shooters are a lot of fun. Next up, we actually have one of the very first survival horror games I ever played for PS1, and that's Overblood. Now, a lot of people never even played this game, never even heard of it, and I actually had rented this game years and years and years ago. And I don't know, this has a special place in my heart. It's not a great game. Like, I've gone back and played it recently, and I was just like, yeah, like it really is. It's an ugly game. Like that's that's the truth. It's really not good looking, but I don't know. It's got some kind of charm to it. I don't know. It's the story, pretty much. You're gonna play this for the story. The control and everything, not so much. So yeah, if you see it and you're bored, you gotta pick it up. Next up, Castlevania: Symphony of the Night. Now I know this isn't like traditional survival horror. What's scary about it? It's just the fact that you're at Dracula's castle and there's tons of monsters and everything, and it's like, you know, the old school like horror aspects of like the old horror movies. And I like that. I don't know. Anything that's got tons of monsters in it, and honestly, this is like one of the best games on PS1, period, and definitely my favorite Castlevania of all time. So yeah, if you've never played it, it's available on PSP, it's available on Xbox Live Arcade, it's available everywhere. So yeah, you should get this game and enjoy the hell out of it because it is awesome. Next, we have granddaddy of them all, Resident Evil. Now, Resident Evil, by far, one of the best games that I ever played on PS1, and like I said before, this is the reason why I own so many survival horror games and love the genre to death. And this did it all. Had a spooky atmosphere, had the B script story, like it was very cheesy voice acting, which, you know, is classic now, because, I mean, this game was, what, 1996? As a matter of fact, let me see, double check, yep, 1996. So that was like forever ago. That's the year some people were like that watching this or were born. That's crazy. But yeah, I played this. My brother had gotten it, and I loved the hell out of it. I was shocked at first because I was like, "Oh my god, this is really gory." But yeah, great game. And if you don't own it, you need to because it's awesome. Next, we have the one more people have played, Resident Evil Director's Cut. This one actually has a demo for Resident Evil 2 in it. Check out the demo there. But yeah, this one, this was supposed to be a director's cut. The thing that kind of bummed me out is that there was aspects to Resident Evil 1 that they did take away when they brought it over to America, and they still didn't include in this one. They actually scrapped them at the last moment, which I thought was really silly. Didn't understand that. But yeah, this is available, you know, on the PSN network. So if you see it and you got the money, you should pick it up. It's awesome. Next, we got Resident Evil 2. This is my favorite Resident Evil. Mind you, Resident Evil 1 comes in at a very, very close second. But this one did for me because it improved on everything. Better graphics, better story, 2 characters to play as, lots of content, and it was just awesome. Like, it really, really is. I loved it. I could not praise this game enough. I would give it like damn near a perfect score. Just love this game to death. So if you don't have it, pick it up. Next, we got Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Now, Resident Evil 3 Nemesis was really cool because it fixed control issues. It brought in Nemesis, who is right there on the cover, with his very toothy grin. He's, yay, stars. Anyway, Nemesis was just a really awesome character because he would follow you. He'd just come after you. He'd break down doors. He shoots a rocket launcher at you. Jill somehow did not explode into tons of pieces. Even though at the end of Resident Evil 1, when you use a rocket launcher and you shoot at Tyrant, he explodes. Jill can take a rocket. It's one tough fucking bitch. Anyway, but Nemesis was really cool because he kept you on your toes, and he did not care. He would bowl over like all the zombies. If there's anything in his way, he's gonna get to you. So yeah, love this game a lot. If you want to get on PSN, you should, or just be like me, get it on PlayStation. They also have it for GameCube too, and Dreamcast. Next, we got Clock Tower 2, The Struggle Within. And Clock Tower 2, this one, it seems a little silly whenever you see some of the stuff that's going on, especially towards the beginning of the game. But especially like when you compare it to the first one, because Scissor Man was way scarier. But I actually don't have the first Clock Tower, which I really want that game because I played it a whole lot when I was younger and beat it multiple times. This one isn't as good as Clock Tower 1, but it's just like it in a lot of ways. So if you dig Clock Tower 1, pick this up. I highly recommend, though, get a PlayStation mouse. They're hard to find, but they don't cost a lot. Like, nobody's really going to pay a lot for them because there wasn't a whole ton of games that really utilized the PlayStation mouse. But it's most definitely worth it for this game alone and Clock Tower 1 just because they control like crap. You have to move a cursor around, and doing it with the D-pad is a joke. So, yeah, pretty cool game. Next, we got Countdown Vampires. Now, many of you may not even know what the hell this game is, and that's understandable. This is one of the later games released on the PS1 before it bit the dust. Well, this has... I'm going to recommend this to everybody right now that liked Resident Evil 1 for the cheesy dialogue and just, like, the laughable story in general. This has that in spades, and that's one of the reasons why me and my friends like this. Like, we got really, like, drunk one day and played this and couldn't stop laughing. And I don't know, it was just really fun. It's got the same, tank-like controls and everything. And you're supposed to be fighting vampires, but I swear everything looks like a zombie. Nothing looks like a vampire. And I don't know. I think they should have just called it, like, Countdown Zombies. It would have made a lot more sense and been more believable. That or make the vampires actually like vampires. But either way, get this game, pick it up, enjoy it for the cheese factor alone, because it's worth it. It's funny. Next, we got Resident Evil Survivor. Now, Resident Evil Survivor, which I actually am in the process of doing a review for this, I've played through this multiple times. It's not a hard game by any means. And it all plays within first person. You move your dude around, and the character unfortunately has nothing to do with the story. Actually, most of the story is absolutely forgettable and stupid in every single way. But it's Resident Evil. So fans of it, you'll definitely get your kicks out of it. It uses a lot of things from Resident Evil 2, but I don't know. The controls really ridiculous. Like, apparently in Europe and Japan, I'm not 100% on Europe, but I'm 100% certain on Japan that you could actually use a gun with this game, which would have been a hell of a lot better. A hell of a lot better. Using a D-pad to move the cursor around, just annoying. And there's no hit detection, really. Like, if I shoot them in the arm or in the head, it does the same amount of damage. So, yeah, I just thought that was kind of annoying. And the AI in the game is absolutely stupid. Like, there's instances where if you're not looking at a hunter that runs at you, it won't attack you. Like, it'll keep running to get into your field of vision so it can. So you can just sit there and, like, turn in a circle, and a hunter won't attack you. So if you can somehow run along the wall and just stare at the wall the entire time, the hunter can't actually ever hurt you. And that's sad. Because it's like, I'm this big hulking monster, I'm going to cut your head off. Oh, wait, come on, look at me, please, come on. Oh, why won't you look at me? Look at me. Damn it. He left. Fuck him, I don't care. I don't need him. But yeah, that's Resident Evil Survivor. Next up, we got one of the classics, Silent Hill. Now, this is my second favorite Silent Hill, just really good game. I love this so much. This game did a whole lot, especially on PS1. Graphically, it looked really nice, had an amazing atmosphere for the time, and with the fact that, like, it actually did things with the camera to make it more like a movie was really cool. Like, I was so amazed by that, and the game was just really gory. I don't know. I like this a whole lot. One of the best survival horror games. Pick it up or pick it up on PSN. Really good stuff. Next, we got one from Squaresoft, and I think you know what it is. Parasite Eve. Now, Parasite Eve is essentially probably one of the coolest things ever. Survival horror RPG melded together to make an awesome game. It is great. There is people that will debate, oh, it's not really survival horror. Well, I consider it survival horror enough to include within this list here. And great game, great story, great everything. Love it a lot. You should get it. But that's not all. Parasite Eve 2. This pretty much is a lot more like survival horror. If you played the first one, didn't think it was like survival horror, play this one, your mind will be changed. Because this is like Resident Evil the RPG. Take Resident Evil, change all the characters to the characters in Parasite Eve, and there you go. You have Parasite Eve 2. Really awesome, and they include the Gunblade from Final Fantasy VIII, the one that Squall uses. Yeah, that's kick-ass, but it's such a pain to get. Such a pain. Love this game. Good stuff. Pick it up. Next, we have Galarians. Now, Galarians is kind of like a survival horror game, and in ways it is, and in ways it's not. I don't know, it's just one of those things you have to play. It's really good though. They actually made a sequel for it, but unfortunately it sucked. But yeah, if you're gonna play a Galarian's game, play this one. Next we have Dino Crisis. Now, when this game came out, a lot of people were buzzing about it because they were expecting more awesome, stuff because of the Resident Evil games, because it was made by Capcom after all. And this game is a lot of fun. It's just that, I don't know, I didn't find the dinosaurs really scary. I don't know, something about dinosaurs isn't scary, but as soon as like you get surrounded by them, they will fuck your day up. I don't know, I like the game, it's just, I don't know, dinosaurs just aren't scary. Jurassic Park tried making them scary, maybe it's just me, I don't know. But I like the game a lot, and Regina, the main character, is a really cool character. I'd like to see them like input her into more stuff, I don't know. If they make a Dino Crisis 4, they need her back. And speaking of Regina and Dino Crisis, we have Dino Crisis 2. Now, Dino Crisis 2 is pretty different from the first game in the sense that it's less like a survival horror game where, there's puzzles and like you're walking around hoping that a dinosaur doesn't just pop out of the vents and come like slash your face off. This one made it more like an arcade game where you got like a point system and upgraded stuff and bought ammo and stuff. And it was a lot of fun. Like, I actually prefer this version. This is another game that I did a review on. I loved it a whole lot, and loved it enough to do a review on it. But yeah, if you're gonna play a Dino Crisis game, definitely play this one. Play the first one, obviously, but this one just really kick ass.